I guess we'll work on a new piece tonight. Try to bust into this big old piece of Georgetown chert. That could be fun, right? Put on my glove. Okay. Get my hat on straight for once. Hello, welcome. Look at that. It's a nice big flake. We'll save that and make something else out of it at a later date. All right. Hopefully we get some people logging in here. And we can start talking Flintknapping. Welcome. Doing a little bit of Flintknapping practice tonight. Thought I'd log on and allow people to follow along if they're interested. This is a piece of Georgetown chert that I'm going to be breaking, hopefully in a controlled manner. Woo! Look at that flake. Oh, that is going to make a nice arrowhead. Big flat flake. No thinning to do on that one. Just really need to chip or pressure flake along the edge just to make that into a nice arrowhead. Should I just go ahead and do that? Set the big piece aside and start making an arrowhead? It's kind of tempting. Let's see. Let's go for it. So we've got kind of a fat chunk down here. Hey, folks. Joe, Debbie. Very long name. Hey. Goofy Nugget, what's up? So I just broke this piece off of a very long piece of chert. Let's see, came off from down here. Boom. Big flat flake. I'm kind of tempted to just start working on this flake and see if I can make an arrowhead out of it kind of in short order compared to working on the big piece. Maybe I'll do that for a little bit. See how it goes, see if I break it. This is called chert. It's a type of stone. It's a lot like flint. This is a copper bopper. One of the tools that I use to shape flint in order to make things like this. Stone tools. An ancient art. The oldest kind of tools known to man. Just start chipping away at the thicker edge. Try and get rid of that really thick part. They are hard to make. This is something I've been practicing for a couple years now, and I'd say I'm only sort of like, still a advanced beginner is what I like to say. Salutary. Someone knows their terminology. Very impressive. Got some bigger pieces here. This is the one I was working on last night. The last 2 nights, actually. Still not done, but I thought I'd into something new just to mix it up and you know, try some. I'm just chipping around the edge, trying to take off the really thick bits. Where did I get them? Yeah, bifacial. Where did I get the stone? I purchased the stone online, if what you're asking. I don't have very many good types of stone around here with which to work. Okay, already in a bit of a problem. That I can probably still get a arrowhead out of this section, but now I've got to figure out how to get this off, totally breaking the rest of it. So I'm just gonna sneak up to it. Maybe a bit of pressure flaking. It's a little more controlled. If I can sneak up to that spot, there we go. So now we're back into sort of a more reasonable shape. How many do I have? How many types of stuff I have? Oh, 3 or 4. Mainly what I have right now is this gray stuff called Georgetown chert, and this black stuff called dacite. And I've made many stone tools out of these, and continuing to practice. I find it very tricky. A lot of things have to go right, and because you're using force like this, and the stone is very brittle, it's pretty easy to just break them in half. So it requires a lot of forethought, a lot of practice, a lot of good hand-eye coordination. And see, I just broke that one. So, all right, no deal. We'll go back to the big piece. Yeah, it can be tempting to give up. Like, I just broke that. Too bad. I'd only been working on it a few minutes, so, you know, it wasn't a huge loss of time, but, you know, I worked on this larger piece for 2, you know, live sessions that were over an each. So if I were to break this one in half, but we're not working on that one tonight. I'm gonna work on this bigger piece here. Give you a look at it before I get started. Once again, this is Georgetown chert. And this white stuff is this chalky material called cortex. It's what happens on the outside of the rock when it's weathered, when it gets subject to the elements and things like that. This white stuff is very soft, not useful for tools. So I need to clear that off. And you can see I've cleared the cortex off of this side. Yeah, it's heavy. It's a solid rock, very heavy. So all of these stones are high in silica. They have a microcrystalline structure inside of them that allows me to hit them, and because it's so uniform on the inside, the force will travel through it in a relatively predictable way, which allows us to shape them with practice. It allows us to shape them and to make tools from them. So it's a special type of rock. There are many in this category, but it's not like you can just go outside, pick up the first rock you find, and have any luck with this. It has to be one of these rocks that's high in silica and has a microcrystalline structure. You just subscribe, Goofy Nugget? I appreciate that. I really do. All right. So this is very thick. That's great. I really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for subscribing. So I'm going to need to thin it and shape it. But first of all, I probably need to start getting rid of this white cortex. So the way this works in general is, if I want to get rid of something on this side, I have to hit it on this side. You hit from above to break off pieces below. Oh, I'm glad you like the channel. I'm still learning this, but and it's taken a long time, but I thought it would be worth sharing with others, answering what questions I can along the way. I enjoy talking about it, so I don't mind trying to work and speak. All right, so I'm going to line up right here to try and take a piece off the bottom. You like the blue bin behind me. There it is. Good old blue bin. All right, here we go. Okay, a nice flake off that. Oh, in fact, I broke the whole thing in half. That's not too bad, really, though, because this is now a much more usable shape. This is kind of funky, but still pretty long, so I should be able to make that into something at a later time. So now we got this thing. That hit went a lot further than I expected. It just goes to show you how unpredictable some of this can be. Okay. The bin looks like a bob? Is that what you're saying? Bob the bin? Nice flake. Okay, that's too thick. If you hit it a few times and it doesn't break, stop. You need to reconsider how you're doing it, because you're not gonna do any favors by just hitting it multiple times. You'll introduce a lot of stresses into the rock that'll probably make it break in a strange manner further on down the road. Okay, just so you can get a sense for what just happened there. So I hit from above here, boom, and those came off. They fit right back in there. Have I ever hurt myself doing this? Pretty much every night. Pretty much every time I do it, I get a little cut. The flakes that come off of this material are incredibly sharp. That's why I've got a glove on this hand. But we'll see. You'll probably see. I'll probably get a little cut somewhere. Flintknapping comes with some risk. Make no mistake. Okay, I'm just trying to get this thing thinner. As you see, I've taken off almost all the cortex. There's just a little bit of this white stuff here, which I can probably hit this way. Yep. And got rid of that. So I took a hit there. So now we've gotten rid of all the cortex. That's good. I also need to get rid of any of these edges that are kind of a 90-degree angle. Those are very hard to work with. What we need are more angles like this, these slanted sections. That's more appropriate. Yeah, imagine the old times. That's what I like to do. This is a skill that has been practiced by many cultures all over the world for a very, very long time. I don't think it's done too much these days. Probably mostly by people like me who are interested in history and anthropology. So I'm going to try a different approach. It doesn't pay to just keep smashing away at the same spot. Here's a nice flake to show you. I I mean, it's the same thing over and over again, but I like to give you good examples. Boom, hit here, and that took off this. So this would fit right back right in there. Okay. And if I take it out, boom, there it is. And it leaves behind this, which is called a flake scar. 2.5 million years ago, yeah, probably even older. There's some tools from a site called Lomequi, which I believe they've dated at 3.3 million years. The tools at that site are very, very basic, but there's still tools that were manufactured, and that's just amazing to think about. Before our genus even existed. Our ancestral relatives making stone tools in Africa. And they needed to. If you want to talk about imagining the creatures that were our ancestors in Africa, were a type of ape. Very big. They weren't very strong. They weren't very fast. They didn't have sharp teeth or big teeth. They didn't have claws. A tool, a sharp tool, would have been crucial for many aspects of survival. One could argue that the human race wouldn't have been able to survive and evolve without the use of stone tools. It's pretty mind-blowing to think about, especially if you look around and you see everything that we have now, all the technology and knowledge that we have now. And to think that at some point, some rather small apes decided that they needed to make these. That was one of the things that made an enormous difference in them being able to survive. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just amazing. This side is still, it's getting thin, but it's still quite a bit of a right angle. So I'm going to keep working away at that lower edge, taking flakes off to make it thinner. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Joao? Where's the one from yesterday? Right here. I decided to just, what's up, Devin? I decided to just go into something different, and I'm smashing apart this piece of Georgetown. I'll go back to that one. I just thought I'd break it up a little bit. Okay. A pretty big, crazy chunk at this point, but we'll keep working on it. Yeah, lots of bifaces. Okay. There we go. Starting to get into this section here with the, oh, thank you for the pronunciation there. I'm going to go with Joao. Yeah, right. Narrowing them down, it starts to get more and more risky as they get thinner. And sometimes I just don't have the heart to face breaking them. So I'll just keep that biface. It can survive for a while I move on to something else. Okay. I can totally relate to that. It's exactly what I'm doing. Okay. All right, so that right angle side is now, I've gotten into that entire edge. I got some flat bit here that I'd like to get rid of. Okay. Okay. Got rid of that flat bit there. So it's kind of a funny shape, but I'll work it off, bring it into somewhat more of a point, or I could try to preserve the length and work in here. Get rid of this bit. That's probably what I'll do. Go back to a braiding. Okay. Hopefully we're back up and running, and hopefully the connection's a little bit better. I just remembered to turn off Wi-Fi. Prismatic core. Oh, yeah. You make is that a core and you strike blades off from the core? Very efficient, if that's what you're talking about. Oh, I got a bit of a strange spot in here, right there. It's actually a hole. Huh. A little bit of a strange inclusion, or void, really. Let me work around that. Yeah, the rock isn't very good right there. But bringing this into more of a lance shape. Yeah, I haven't done much blade cores. I've read about them. I've, just tried it but I haven't really done a lot. bit of weirdness in here too. Rock has this white area, a slightly different texture. It's a little bit more coarse. We'll see how that plays out. Let's see. Okay. Okay. It's getting a little bit more regular, more lance shaped. This edge is still pretty funky. Got some mass right here I need to remove. Try and get it thinner and bring it to shape a little bit. How's everybody doing? Thank you for joining. Making a stone tool or stone tool tonight, depending on how things go. Okay. Okay. This material has some funny areas in it. Material. Any problems are mine, but it's definitely a little weird. So we got kind of a big mass right in here I need to address. Got some of it. Yeah, I got a little bit more. Yeah, this white area at the tip is much more crumbly. It's definitely probably didn't through the full, metamorphic process, I guess. Or some kind of inclusion. Come on now. There we go. Got rid of a bit of that mass. Bit more, that's good. More braiding. Here we go. Hopefully the light catches that so you can get a sense for how it's coming up. Oh, very crumbly on that side. Yuck. Yuck. Well, we'll see. We'll do the best we can. Crumbly on this now too. Yeah, I'm running into some trouble up here near this white area. See this step fracture along here? The stone isn't as hard right here, and the force isn't carrying through to make nice flakes. See, can I fix that? Yeah, I can probably hit. So let's see, the mess is right here. There you can see it's right in here. What I can try and do is hit from this side to knock a flake all the way across, bring it down to this level. Need to prepare this side a little bit. Okay. All right. Braid. And now give it a good hit. So hopefully hit here to knock off a flake going this way to hopefully clear this up a little bit. It's a little risky, but those are going to be if I don't get rid of them. Not quite far enough. Also not quite far enough. So I took off 2 flakes here. They didn't travel all the way to my problem area. So I'll have to take another chance at that. And oh, it's just getting worse over there. Oh, that's, yeah. Let's see. So I need to raise this platform so that it's lower when I flip it over. Okay. That is just so unfortunate. I'm not having much luck getting rid of that little problem with the step fractures. This side looks okay. This side is a mess. been a difficult piece of stone. That's just ugly. So many ugly bits. Hey Jace, what's up? I don't have high hopes for getting this thing very thin, just because I've got such a nasty fracture ridge right there. I don't know if it was partially the change in stone. I'm sure it was partially me. I've still got a lot to learn. A whole lot to learn. Oh, it's so ugly. It's so ugly. Now it's just sort of a matter of, you know, it's not going to turn out well, right? So now it's a matter of like seeing what I can learn from the piece that's kind of badly messed up. You know, keep trying, keep working with it to see if how many things I can, if I can make something out of it. But my expectations for something good coming out of it are about zero now. That's okay. That happens. So let's see if I can mitigate some of the worst things. And you can learn a lot by making a study of fixing. I think it's in my experience, it's sort of a crucial phase of the learning process with any kind of craft. You know, initially you don't know what you're doing wrong, and everything sort of feels, you know, like you're learning something and like it's got some merit and like, you know, you're making progress. And eventually you hit a phase where you realize what you're failing to do. So that's, you know, it feels disheartening. It's a necessary step. in order to get better, to continue getting better. So I know this went wrong. And so now I can recognize that, okay, what can I learn in trying to fix it? I may not be able to fix it. I probably won't be able to fix it. But I can learn something in the attempt. I don't suppose I could get any of those off, any of those ridges off ahead of time. Maybe a little bit. And so I've switched tools here. This is a flaking tool, and I'm trying to grab onto some of those nasty ledges and pry them off. It's working a little bit, so it's definitely not a complete fix, but it might make my situation a little bit better. If I can remove some of that excess mass, some of those steps, then just a little bit closer to something that's more manageable. Likewise, I could grind them a little bit. It would take a long time to grind away all those problems, but maybe making them a little bit better so that my subsequent hits are a bit more effective, that might be worth the time. So many problems. It's still a nasty, chunky mess, but let's see here. Okay. We're down to 6, just the hardcore people. 7, welcome. Let's see. Right here. Not my best work by any means. But we're learning. And that's you can save for a lot of people, right? You get to a certain point in life and just learning. That's not us. Not us. Keep learning. I might be able to kind of make something out of this, but we'll see. All right. So my problem is still right in here, but it's getting closer and closer to the edge, which means I'll start knocking it off little by little. the piece has gotten much narrower, but I expect that. Freehand a little bit here. I want to get a particular spot. And it's right under my finger there. It can be handy to hold it freehand if you're trying to get to just this one little place. Well, it's improved a lot more than I thought it would. Looks good from one side, so I can put it in a case with this side pointing out, you know. Nobody will know how awful it looks on the other side. Maybe switch to a little pressure flaking. See if we can clean it up a little bit. This is called an ishi stick. Put it under your arm, and you put the tip against the edge where you want to push off a flake. And then you push with your arms and squeeze your legs together until you pop off a flake like that. Very controlled process compared to what I've been doing, which is called percussion flaking. Not bad. Still some die-hard people following along. I appreciate it. This is that end where the material is crumbly. Yeah, I think I'll end up, there's just a little bit of that left. See this, whoops, this white stuff right here at the top, very crumbly. Very crumbly. Hard to work with that. Kind of got me into some trouble. Yeah, and even now it doesn't want to pressure flake. It just sort of crushes underneath the tool. So the flake carry, and if you don't get long flakes, you have a hard time making thin in this direction. Well, you know, it's not the best thing I've ever made, but given where it was a few minutes ago, I'm pretty happy. Take a look. Weird bit of like a little void in this right here. Left behind a little pocket. I found a couple of those in this. This stone might not be as nice as other batches I've had of the same material. A little bit more percussion here. It's funky all over, folks. That's okay. I thought this one was going to be a total loss. It's not beautiful, but I wouldn't the total loss category. Not as many questions tonight, which is fine. No problem. If you got questions, I'll try to answer. If you don't, just keep doing what I'm doing. Both are good. edge is kind of right near the edge is pretty rough. Don't normally grind, but this piece is, it needs all the help it can get. Risky, but I'm going to try and hit the end off this. Hopefully the end won't vibrate and break. So far, so good. Here's where we are. Kind of a, could be a reasonably good knife blade. Mounted into a, maybe into an antler. That. Kind of picture it coming out of that antler handle. Like that. It might be pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. Well, folks, we've been at it more than an hour. I made some progress on this thing that started off very rough. Thank you for joining. Please check out my channel. Subscribe and watch some stuff. Maybe watch the one on the Oldowan tool. And like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. I'd really appreciate it. Trying to get my channel up and running, and this live stuff is one aspect of that, and the rest is the videos, long form videos. So I hope you all have a great remainder of your day, and I'll see you here again sometime soon. Thank you.